for all the football fans who say keep politics out of the game,
Can't.
or just sports fans period who say keep politics out of it, bro. There's so much that I've learned this weekend. Shout out to Carlin, by the way, because I've learned a lot about the background of certain rules that are in sports now. Like, for example, like I didn't know that dribbling, the way dribbling came about of how we know it to be right now is because at some point in Brazil, black players, there were rules that allowed white players to be able to do whatever they wanted to black players, like tackle them, just the 2-footed, studs up, anything.
Oh, shit.
And so the black players had to get really creative in terms of how they handle the ball and how they move around on the
I
pitch
love us.
so that they can avoid the white players from injuring them and you know, like going crazy and wilding on them, right? So that's basically modern day dribbling as we know it.
Yeah.
The sole reason of why Messi plays the way he plays
Little does he
is
know.
because black players had to literally survive on the field and
Get
find a
creative.
way
That's
to
crazy.
escape that.
What country did that originate from?
I think it was in Brazil.
It would make sense.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so
nuts.
the fact, and there's so many other like kind of nuggets like that in sports
Yeah.
where they're racially motivated
Yeah.
parts of different
Yeah.
games, you know?
And
Yeah,
we
it's
turn
funny
it
when
into,
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say we
Yeah.
turn it into something beautiful.
Yeah, it's always funny to people like, oh, y'all bring race into the. It's like, bro, race makes itself about shit. Like, I had no idea. That's why people be dribbling the way they do. Jogo Benito comes from racism. Who knew?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
it's nuts.
It's
Yeah.
interesting. Other parts of
crazy.
cultures coming as well. Talking about Brazil specifically, Ginga is a type of sway and actually associated
Yeah.
with. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, viewers. I could be wrong, but
Good
Ginga,
caveat.
from what I know so far, is the fact that it came from actually certain types of fighting styles.
Yes.
In Brazilian history, bring that into the culture. Obviously, the liveliness and bring
Yeah.
that to the dribbling. Step over FC over there. So
You know how it is.
Yeah.
Anthony.
He was trying to get. I was saying he was trying to get them spins off last game.
Yeah.
Oh, it worked.
I love it though, because bro,
Yeah.
when you have somebody like that on your team
Yeah.
that just takes those risks and is doesn't care about looking foolish. Like if
Yeah.
he loses the ball, he loses the ball. But I feel like again, we speak of momentum.
Yeah.
When you have somebody that does a little something extra special
Yeah.
that puts a little bit of spice in it.
Bro, they have a team of that. That's why they're Brazil.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So it gives them a different type of confidence. And before we even move on to another topic, and speaking of the round of 16, go ahead.
Nah, I was about to just say a quote by Anthony real quick.
I want to hear it.
Man, thing is that I don't want to delay what you about to say. I'm about to find it.
About the
and-
favelas
Nah,
and
find
shit.
it, find it. But I was gonna
Yeah.
say, since we're on the topic of Brazil, that we're sending our prayers.
Oh, for
And
sure.
I think I speak for the whole podcast for
sure.
Five Aside when I say we sending our prayers to the King Pele, because he's
For
been
sure, love, bro.
dealing with a lot of health issues we know for years now.
Yep.
And for the last couple of days, it's kind of seemed like his health has declined, taken a huge dip.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was announced that I know he's been dealing with bowel cancer, and he was admitted into the hospital and hospitalized a few days ago. And then they announced that he was put in what is it, end of life care or something like
Yeah.
that, like
Extensive,
basically like
yeah,
an
you know.
hospice or something. And so yeah, man, he they put out a statement on his page. I don't know if obviously he probably doesn't run the page, but
Yeah.
saying that he's recovering and that he's staying strong and just still fighting. So yeah, much love, man, because Pele has inspired a whole
Yeah.
generation of players and is one of, if not the most iconic footballer of all time. Whether you agree if he's the best or not, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's a legend,
Yeah.
the legend of all legends.
Yeah.
Facts.
And so yeah, man, we're praying for you, King, and wishing you a speedy recovery.
Yeah.
Because,
For
yeah,
sure.
you
Well,
still in
get
this.
well.
And for the young viewers, you might not be up to date on everything he's done. There's a documentary about him on Netflix. Definitely
Yes.
check it out.
Facts.
Absolute legend, scoring in the World Cup and winning it at the age of 18, scoring in the
Yes.
final. Completely
Yes.
created the modern day Brazil we know as the world's best footballing nation. Had the entire pressure of the country with dictators, everything. Crazy story. Definitely check out his Netflix documentary
And
for
no,
sure.
if you want a summary of that, check Wavy Footy's page. We did a summary of the film.
Facts.
Shout out Pele, a black king,
Absolutely.
Black king. To the quote that I was shouting
Yeah.
out by Anthony, he talked recently about his background, growing up in the favelas and what dribbling means to him. Because the guy would just keep the ball at his feet for no reason, it seems like. But real quick, he said in the favela, everyone plays. There, everyone is equal. I played barefoot on bleeding feet. I was small, but I dribbled with a meanness that came from God. Dribbling was something always inside me. It was a natural instinct, and I refused to bow my head to anyone.
Come on.
Finally, he said, out Elastico, the drug dealers, Rainbow, the bus drivers, Nutmeg, the thieves. I really did not give a fuck.
Dog, put that in a
Drug
song, bro.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
Come on.
Come on, G.
That's a red devil. Get me?
Yeah, fire, bro.
And
Yeah.
I feel like that speaks to the fact too, like how commentators, especially Western commentators, now see like the Brazilian style as like disrespectful.
Yeah.
But he's saying like, nah, like everybody could get this smoke.
Yeah.
It's not about like me being better than you. It's just
Yeah.
like, nah, this is how we play.
Yeah.
Anybody can get this smoke. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter who you are.
Facts.
So it's like people see it as something that's supposed to be dismissive or disrespectful. It's like, nah, bro.
They was getting mad at Vinny for dancing after scoring a goal for the Champions League winners, which he scored in the final. Like, bro, he's been productive.
Why they like this? Why they like this, bro? What is
Hating ass
wrong
niggas,
with
bro.
y'all?
That actually is
Like,
haters.
Just because y'all can't do it and it's not
Dead
part of your
ass.
culture, it's a problem. It's
Exactly.
And that brings up a question that I've always thought about is like, obviously our view of Neymar and whatnot. Well, not our view, but the public's view, the way
general,
the media
yeah.
critiques him. Would Ronaldinho be appreciated in this current generation?
Wow. Ronaldinho, man, I feel like I don't know because he's so magical too on the pitch. Like I feel like no matter how much the quality of his play overall as a footballer declined over time, he never lost that magic touch. Like it was still so entertaining.
He always had fun on the
that
pitch, bro.
you don't
Yeah.
you have no choice but to look at him and be like, man, what can I say about this man off the pitch or all his antics or whatever? Because he's so entertaining.
Yeah, his
like
smile
white,
was
black,
part of
Asian,
it.
I don't care who you are. You're
Yeah.
looking at Ronaldinho like, nah, I can't say nothing.
Bro, he's the
about
only
this
player to ever get a standing ovation in the Bernabeu from Madrid fans when he cooked us 3-0. He had 2 unreal goals and an assist to Eto'o or something. And Madrid fans were like,
Yeah.
all right. you
gotta give him
ain't
his
doing none
props.
of that.
He was showing up to that match drunk,
Bro.
balling
Going
on,
crazy.
balling on y'all.
Yo,
He was up
hungover, bro.
before
Unreal.
training. He used to. That's why they wasn't really jacking him being around Messi too much because the influence. But he did bring Messi to the first team,
Of course.
and encourage that. But that's the thing because it's also like obviously our image and branding is a lot of part of just
Yeah.
athletes nowadays. Neymar has this bad boy image. Ronaldinho's thing was the smile.
Yeah.
They're both expressive and skillful. If Neymar was smiling all of a sudden, I really don't think people would start jacking him.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Neymar, honestly, they're forcing the bad boy image on him because he do be smiling. He do be
Yeah,
having that. He doesn't say anything crazy in interviews.
Yeah.
It's a forced hate, I think.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
necessarily bad boy. It's just kind of like
But we see
bad
him
boy,
outside.
bad boy in the
and so he
sense
be
of
with the
like
models
party
and stuff.
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, facts.
Just
They use that to
Playboy.
discredit his
Playboy, I think.
on-field ability.
Yeah.
You seen his trophy cabinet?
Yeah.
Speaking of Pele, a few goals for him. He's been out the last 2 games. He's passing Pele for all-time goal scoring, and he's only 30 so he's gonna pass him.
Yeah.
God forbid some insane injury.
Yeah.
Like, bro, he's absolutely goated. Like,
Yeah, we need
he
him
might
back.
be top 20 ever.
Absolutely.
That's-
Easy.
Yeah, ever though.
You
And he's
gotta-
got time too. He's got
You
more
gotta
time
give
too.
Neymar his flowers.